many different ways can you make love? Maybe you've got a whole range of techniques under your belt. Maybe you don't. Maybe you've never even tried before, and that's fine. Because I'm going to share with you today a new way to make love. One that you can take away and start practicing with whoever you want, without fear of judgment. But a few caveats before I begin. While some focus more on ourselves, this one focuses more on the other. And while I have pulled various pieces together to develop this new technique, it is based on traditions that have been practiced throughout the ages. So let's begin. And I want you to start by thinking about all the different relationships that you currently have in your day-to-day life, the different areas of influence that you have. And if something were to happen to you today, and some of those people from those different areas ended up at your funeral, would there be one characteristic that they would all recognize in you? If there is, hopefully it's the one you want to be remembered for. If you didn't think of one, that's okay. We're going to work towards one together. When we start to think about our relationships, we often think about maybe our friends, our family, our work colleagues. But I wonder how many of us naturally think about the relationships we have with those in our local community, the people who serve us at the local shops or our favourite restaurant. What about the relationships we have with those in our global community, the people who make your clothes that you're wearing now, if indeed you are wearing any, or the device that you're watching this on? And take it one step further. What about the relationship we have with our environment and the planet? There are so many different relationships that we rely on every single day just to live our day-to-day lives. And if those relationships are broken, if those relationships get damaged, it can have an impact, sometimes profoundly, on us and those around us. And that's because we live in such an interconnected world, don't we? We live in a world where our economies, our financial systems are all intertwined, where we share an environment, a global ecosystem with the rest of the world. And when we live in a world like this, I think there's some useful wisdom to be gleaned from those things that have been captured in ancient sacred writings and practiced and shared by people from different countries, different cultures, across different time zones, people living under different political systems. And this advice is shared with couples as they prepare to embark on that relationship that hopefully will last until the end of their lives. As they seek to give advice for couples as they prepare for their marriage, to help them weather the storms of life, the ups and the downs of richer times and poorer times, times of good health and times of not so good health. The times prepare them for that relationship where their resources become intertwined. And while we hope that that relationship will last until their dying days, we know it doesn't always work out that way. But I think that wisdom is worth listening to. And it basically boils down to one word: love. Not love the emotion, not love the feeling that can come and go, but love the intentional choice. The ancient Greeks had a word for this type of love: agape. It means an unconditional, sacrificial love. And that's the love that we're going to make now. And we're going to start, as many traditional love-making techniques do, by laying down. When we live together, when we share often limited resources, but have differing priorities, differing goals, often we have to compromise. We have to sacrifice. We have to lay things down for the sake of that relationship. It could be as trivial as not going out with your friends one night because your partner has come home after a really bad day and could just do with a hug and some time to vent. Or it could be the not so trivial of laying down a career to look after a loved one, or so that your partner can pursue some of their life goals. And it's not always personal relationships that we need to sacrifice for. What about that relationship that we have with our planet, with our environment? I don't know if you've ever heard of World Overshoot Day, but this is the day where us as humans use up the planet's resources, that our humanity's pull on the environment is too much for the planet to be able to renew in any given year. In 2019, that fell on July the 29th. The pressure that we're putting on that relationship with our planet is not sustainable, and maybe sacrifices have to be made. But it's not all bad news. The Harvard study into human adult development, an 80-year study that has looked at various different people from different walks of life. When they looked back at all the different data points that they collected about people's health and well-being, what they found was that there was one key indicator that could show whether someone was more likely to live a healthier, happier life later on. And that key indicator, it wasn't their job, it wasn't their career, it wasn't the amount of money they had, it wasn't even their cholesterol level, it was the quality of their relationships. If people had invested earlier on in their life in relationships that they could trust, if they had people around them that they could trust to be there in times of trouble, they were the people who went on to live longer, healthier, happier lives. So while this love is a sacrificial love, maybe there are some beneficial side effects. So we've laid down, now it's time to work to the big O. And that's where we offer up the things that we have for the benefit of the other. Whether this is mentoring, volunteering, helping someone get back into work who's been out of work for a long time, whether it's offering up our services, our gifts to get someone who's just been recently released from prison back into everyday life. These things that may only take a few minutes of our time can radically transform people's lives. So we've got our L by laying down, we've got our O by offering up, then we arrive at that special V, that place of vulnerability. It's been said that our society, our culture is a mile wide, but only an inch deep. But the thing that most of us crave are deep connections, deep relationships. We want to be deeply known. We want to be truly known, and we want to know others as well. Brené Brown, a research professor in the States, has done a lot of work on this, and she says that the only way we can achieve that depth is through embracing vulnerability. Only when we accept ourselves for who we are, only when we hand what's important to us over to potentially the actions of others, that's how we build trust and deep depth in our relationships. I don't know whether you've ever been in this situation where you've laid down, you're working towards the big O, you arrive at the place of vulnerability, and then the phone goes, or the kids wake up, or there's a knock on the door, and you know that that work has gone out the window. So you might have to start again. Because our environments are a crucial part of our ability to make love. And so it is when we try and practice this, when we try and love in this way, our everyday environments can either make it incredibly difficult or blissfully easy. And that's where we need to help each other out. This is where we need to help each other to build everyday environments that can foster love, that is easier for us to love one another and to love our planet, to create businesses and products that don't put much pressure on the planet, that make it easier to recycle, maybe even build whole towns and cities that are easier to access services and build communities that we can all love each other and love the planet. So we need to help each other out. We need to make intentional choices to lay things down for the sake of all of those relationships that we rely on in our day-to-day life. We need to intentionally choose to offer up what we have to help strengthen our relationships. We need to intentionally choose vulnerability so that we can help and serve others, and intentionally choose to try and build these everyday environments where this love can flourish. Thank you.